The Houston Texans have been torn to shreds this offseason in terms of their moves, what Bill Obrien is doing. Everybody's saying he's the worst general manager in football, the worst in the history of football, just simply because of one trade. I mean, the guy traded DeAndre Hopkins. I get it. It wasn't the greatest trade in the world. It might be one of the worst trades of this offseason and of all time, some people will say. But when it comes to evaluating his other moves, you can't strictly look at it through a lens of negativity. And this is a move that I look through a lens of positivity. The team was not going to sign DJ Reader. I think they pretty much made that clear from the beginning of the offseason. And for any Texans fans out there that thought you guys would be able to keep DJ Reader, I'm sorry, just the pieces were not adding up. But in terms of signing somebody that can replicate his production, can play a similar role, and is a player that's underrated, I've seen have success in multiple systems, in multiple positions, playing as a depth player, playing as a starter, playing for winning football teams, that's Timmy Jernigan. Timmy Jernigan is perhaps one of the most overlooked interior defensive linemen in the entire NFL, and it's because his statistics don't stand out from the stat sheet. I mean, nobody's going to be impressed by his 10 games played, 10 tackles, and 2 sacks in 2019. But you ask any Eagles fan out there over the past couple of years who has been important to their defensive line, and I guarantee you almost all of them, if not all of them, will say Timmy Jernigan was one of the sneaky, underrated, most important aspects of their D-line. And he's been really nice complimenting Fletcher Cox on that D-line. And I think what the Texans are looking at here is a player that's still only 27, despite seeming like he's played for 2 decades now. You know, he played with the Ravens early in his career and was pretty good there, probably his most productive on the stat sheet. Goes to the Eagles, wins the Super Bowl with the Eagles pretty much immediately, and is a part of this line change in Philadelphia where they have like 8 to 9 pass rushing defensive lineman studs. Like that line in 2017, 2018 was phenomenal. And Jernigan was just another name on the list. And I think now that he's in Houston, he's going to be able to stand out a little bit more as a player that's legitimately a good player. And going back to the statistics, right? The statistics aren't going to impress you. But not all defensive linemen put up sacks. Not all defensive linemen will put up in the box score. What they do is they mess plays up. They make it and life difficult on an offense, whether that's in the run game, the passing game. Timmy Jernigan, I think, is a very versatile type of player. I've seen him play a 4-3 type D tackle. I've seen him play nose tackle. I've seen him play 3-4 end. He's got the size and kind of the flexibility where he's 6'2", 295. So he kind of can fit into a lot of different type of defenses, but he's a big dude who's going to be able to play nose tackle in Houston's system if they want him to, or he's going to be able to play on the opposite side of J.J. Watt if they want him to do that. So it really depends what the Texans want to do, but they have a versatile piece here on the D-line that they can kind of move around. And again, this is a guy that's been kind of going under the radar with his contracts. Another just 1-year contract, $3.75 million. Nothing much. I think this is a great contract. It's a great ad. It fits a need. It checks every box. So when you're looking at Bill O'Brien's moves, don't take them all as negative. This is one of the moves that I've liked that the Texans have made. Coming into the offseason, like I said, I knew they wouldn't be able to sign DJ Reader. I'm a little disappointed that they haven't added other pass rushers and they haven't added corners. I'm disappointed in their offseason game plan so far from Houston. But when it comes to trying to find underrated, under the radar, hidden gem, diamond in the rough type players, and fitting them in to replace players that you couldn't afford or are making too much money, not necessarily couldn't afford, but you didn't feel would reach the value of their contract, and trying to replace that with a lower term contract with less money, Timmy Jernigan for DJ Reader is one of the best swaps you could possibly make in terms of, okay, he's not going to be DJ Reader, but he's going to be something close at a fraction of the cost. And that's how you win in the NFL. That's how the Seahawks win. That's how the Patriots win. That's how the Ravens win. That's how the Eagles win. That's how all these teams have been consistently winning, have been able to go on winning, because they find those players, even though they can't afford that stud, they're going to be able to find and replace that player effectively and efficiently. And I think that's what the Texans have done here with a solid player in Timmy Jernigan. Last to note, I just want to take a look at his snap count because over the past couple of years, he's been injured. That's kind of been his number one thing throughout his career is he hasn't been able to always stay on the field. So he's never actually played over 60% of the snaps. And that's when he was like more of a every game player. In Baltimore, he played 16 games in 2016. And with Philadelphia, he played 15 games in 2017. And he played 3 years in a row, 50%, 60%, 48%. So that's decent amount for a defensive tackle. Last year, he played 27% in 10 games, so that takes into account there. But I think that he's going to get a spotlight on him at the end of the year. I wouldn't be shocked if we're saying, you know what, Timmy Jernigan at the end of the year, he had a really good season. He put up the numbers because he played more snaps and he got more opportunity. And you're actually looking at him as probably the second best player on this D-line and probably, one of the standouts in the front seven for the Texans. I wouldn't be shocked at all. So Timmy Jernigan signs a 1-year deal with the Texans, replacing DJ Reader.